Good evening and welcome to the Coon Rapids City Council meeting for Tuesday, February 4th, 2020. If you could please rise and join us for the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Please call the roll when you're ready.
Councilmember Kraskowiak?
Here.
Councilmember Kicker?
Here.
Councilmember Demmer?
Here.
Councilmember Geisler? Here. Councilmember Johnson?
Here.
Councilmember Wells?
Here.
Mayor Cook?
Here. Thank you. Next item is to adopt this evening's agenda.
Your Honor,
Councilmember Demmer.
move to adopt the agenda, removing item 16 and adding a presentation from Crooked Lake Association.
Second. Motion by Demmer, second by Wells. Any other discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? And the agenda is adopted as amended. So, right away, we're up to you.
This didn't feel well.
Yeah. No, don't move you right up.
All right, perfect. Looks like the mics are working over here, so that's good. Hi, I'm Joel Friday. I'm with the Crooked Lake Area Association. I'm the Coon Rapids watchdog. So I interface with the city here and let you know what's going on at the lake. One of the cool things that I live on the lake. I can see the new park that you guys built, and the activity over there has been just unbelievable. The whole time, you know, even during construction season, people went out and discovered there was a beach there again. And so it's fun seeing people there all the time, even this time of year. One of the things that would be really nice is if the restrooms were open a little more often, because people tend to, this time of year, are right out on the lake, so it's a little disgusting that way. We just wanted to thank you all for your support over the years at the Crooked Lake Area Association Board. We call it our partnership. Our other partners we work closely with are the Coon Creek Watershed District, Anoka County Parks, the Anoka Conservation District, the City of Andover, and the DNR. Currently, Crooked Lake is one of the cleanest urban lakes in the entire metro area. People go out there. If you do something on the water, I've seen it on Crooked Lake. They're jet skiing, they're barefoot skiing, they're boating, canoeing, kayaking, whatever you want to do out there. People are enjoying the lake that is part of our city here. The treatment plans that we've done have got it to the point where we're considered a poster child for the DNR in the state of Minnesota. So we wanted to thank you for that. And I've noticed since I've been on the lake, at first we had a ton of milfoil at the end of my dock. We currently don't anymore. You know, there's still weeds out there, but that's native vegetation. That's never going away. We need that as part of our lake to make it healthy. Our general membership annual meeting is February 20th, 6:30 p.m. at Legacy Christian Academy. You can enter on door number 6. Legacy Christian is tied with Meadow Creek Church on Bunker Lake Boulevard over there. You're all welcome to attend, any of the council member or mayor. We would give 30 seconds to a minute to talk, and you of course are going to be meeting with your constituents out there, because a lot of them will attend the meeting. We typically have 40 to 50 people attend that meeting every year. Be great to have you out there. I handed each of you one of the association letters. If anybody else here would like one, I have some additional ones. And that's it. Do you guys have any questions of the Lake Association at this point?
Doesn't look like it. We're extremely impressed with how that lake is cleaned up, though.
Yeah.
Boy,
Yeah,
it's
that,
just,
yeah,
between that and the park out there now, it's quite an attraction.
Yeah, no, I think everybody loves it out there, and it's just, I mean, I can go out there and walk out there now and just talk to somebody fishing, and they're having a blast. Sometimes I have to boat out there, but now the water's a little harder. It's interesting to see what people do out there. There was a little white car out there. He got himself stuck in the slush, and there's always somebody out there trying something new. So,
Sure.
thank you for this time, and Have a great.
Excellent.
Yeah,
Thanks, Joe.
Thank you.
All right, next on our agenda is the approval of the previous meeting minutes.
Your Honor.
Councilmember Demmer,
Move to approve the minutes from the January 21st, 2020 meeting.
Second?
motion by Demmer, second by Kicker. Discussion or corrections? I have one question. I think that we've got the name of the father and son wrong. I think it was actually Saint Hilaire. That was what I saw when I rewatched the meeting, although on the minutes and in our previous packet, it was just Hilaire. So maybe you could just check
I'll
that.
verify with
Yeah.
PD.
Okay. All right. Any other discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed, and that motion carries. And we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 items on our consent agenda this evening. The first one is to approve a site lease with new Cingular Wireless, PCS AT&T. They have requested the city to place telecommunication antennas on the city's monopole light tower located in Wintercrest Park at 10300 Woodcrest Drive Northwest. City staff and AT&T have negotiated the attached lease to permit AT&T to place its facilities at that location. The highlights include an initial 5-year term with 3 additional 5-year options. AT&T shall pay an initial rent of $32,000 annually, with a 4% increase each year thereafter. Tenants' use of the facility shall be subordinate to the city's use of the facility, as well as other public safety and government agencies. And when the lease has ended or is terminated by either party, AT&T shall be responsible to remove its equipment, repair, and restore the site. So with this, we're looking to approve the site lease agreement with new Cingular Wireless PCS for a telecommunication facility at the monopole at Wintercrest Park, and authorize the mayor and city manager to execute the agreement and any other necessary documents. Next item on our consent agenda is to approve Resolution 20-29, approving the agreement and donation acceptance for Wintercrest Park batting cages. The Coon Rapids Baseball Association approached the city with a request to rebuild or replace existing batting cages located on city property at the south end of Wintercrest Park. And the association and city staff have reviewed the condition of the batting cages and determined they are in need of replacement, and worked together to develop a mutually agreeable scope of the project, consistent with previous agreements for similar facilities and use of city property by a private organization. Staff developed the attached agreement for association review and execution. Since the batting cages were existing, located on city property, and available for public access, staff agreed to pay approximately 1/3 of the project costs from the park's operating budget. The agreement states the association is responsible for ongoing maintenance of the cages, with annual inspections performed by the city, and they are to remain open and available to the public outside of association use. So with this, we'll be adopting Resolution 20-29, accepting the Coon Rapids Baseball Association donation toward updated batting cages at Wintercrest Park, and authorize the required signatures for the associated agreement. Next is to approve our 2020 workman's compensation coverage. Workman's compensation insurance covers city employees injured on the job, paying lost time and medical bills. The premium is based on wages with unique rates charged to each worker classification, like clerical, police, fire, street, etc. Higher rates are charged to the worker classifications with the highest risk of injury. For the 2020 renewal, there is a 9% rate increase on all job classes. The rate increase was put into place based on the projected cost of anticipated PTSD claims. The premium also gets adjusted by the experience modification factor, and there are a number of alternatives to the city for coverage. And what we're looking to do, the 2020 premium of $611,090 is increased by 6% over the 2019 premium of $575,391, even though the city's Modification factor decreased, the premium increased due to the rate increase on all job types described above. So we're looking, the recommendation for 2020 includes a potential savings of almost $500,000. We're selecting option 3. The city has seen savings of slightly more than $1 million since selecting the retro plan, which is option 3. So we're looking to approve option 3 of the retro rated plans with the League of Minnesota Cities Insurance Trust. Item number 5 on the consent agenda is adopt resolution 20-27, accepting electrical vehicle charging station grant from the Great Plains Institute. And this is from the Minnesota Diesel Replacement Grant for the electrical vehicle charging stations. The first one we're looking at doing at the Coon Rapids City Hall, the Civic Center. Installation cost $10,060. The grant award is $76,5344. So the city contribution will be 20% or $2,406. And then the next one, which we'll be doing later, will be at the Coon Rapids Ice Center. Initial cost $9,690. Grant award $7,262.72. 20% city contribution, $2,427.28. So we're looking to accept the Minnesota Pollution Control Agency Minnesota Diesel Replacement Grant for the electric vehicle charging stations at the City Center and Coon Rapids Ice Center. Next on our consent agenda is item 6 on this evening's agenda, to adopt resolution 20-26, accepting the 2020 SCORE recycling grant funds from Anoka County. Coon Rapids is entitled to receive reimbursement for eligible activities up to $215,436. This amount includes $195,436 for total population and household allotment for the recycling program and $20,000 for facility improvements. The 2020 recycling budget was approved by the City Council in December and included the SCORE funds in the same amount. So we're looking to adopt resolution 20-26, accepting the 2020 SCORE grant funds from Anoka County. Next on our consent agenda is item 7 this evening, and that's to accept as an informational item. There's been a corporate officer change at Famous Dave's, and it's just a representative for D&D of Minnesota doing business as Famous Dave's has notified the city of a change in their corporate officers, and it's just for information only. And then the last item on our consent agenda, which is item 8 this evening, is to approve an appointment to the Twin City Gateway. And the mayor and city manager currently serve as the city's appointments to the Twin City Gateway Board of Directors. In addition to these appointments, the city is also able to appoint one hotelier to the board to provide the Coon Rapids hotel lodging community with representation. Mr. Amini is the general manager at the Holiday Inn Express and Suites located at 9333 Springbrook Drive Northwest in Coon Rapids, and currently serves on the Minnesota Lodging Association's Board of Directors. Mr. Amini attended the January meeting of the Twin City Gateway Board of Directors and has requested the City Council consider his appointment. So with this, we'll be looking to appoint Mr. Fahim Amini to the Twin City Gateway Board of Directors as the Coon Rapids hotelier representative. And that is our consent agenda this evening.
Your Honor,
Councilmember Kicker.
I make a motion to approve the consent agenda.
Second.
Motion by Kicker, second by Geisler. Any discussion or questions?
Your Honor,
Councilmember Griscoviac.
do have a question on consent agenda number 5, the adopt resolution 2027, accepting the electric vehicle charging station grant from the Great Plains Institute. Question is, the actual grant agreement isn't posted in the packet, and I'm just wondering, is there anything in that agreement that would dictate how or what we charge for the actual electricity consumed in those devices?
Mr. Hammer.
Yes, Councilmember Griscoviac, members of the council. The agreement is technically with the Great Plains Institute. We are one of many contained within that, but there's no stipulations with regard to how we charge or don't charge for such a station.
Okay. That's my question. Thank you.
All right. Any other questions or discussion on the consent agenda? We have a motion and a second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? And the consent agenda is approved. We are up to new business. Number 9, consider resolution number 20-4 sub 8, accepting plans and specifications for the city center roof replacement and authorizing solicitation of bids. Mr. Himmer, this is, all the fun stuff will come later when we get the bids, right?
That's correct, Mr. Mayor, Council. This is just to go out and receive bids for the replacement of the roof on this facility.
Work will include replacement of approximately 61,000 square feet of the existing EPDM loose-laid ballasted roofing systems. I love that. What's EPDM?
It's just the membrane that's used. I don't know the acronym, to be honest with you.
Oh.
It's the membrane that goes under the oil and the rocks.
Oh, all right. All right.
Well, now I gotta Google it.
Well, no, I actually I would have liked to have seen him make something up right
Oh,
then,
The
yeah.
M stands for membrane.
All right. So, all right. Somebody want to make questions or a motion or what?
Mr. Mayor, I'll make a motion
For
to
Geisler?
approve the adoption of Resolution 20-4 sub 8, approving plans and specifications and ordering advertisement for bids for the 2020 City Center roof replacement project.
Second.
Motion by Geisler, second by Johnson. Discussion?
Your Honor.
Councilmember Demmer.
This is just to make the poor people who take the minutes really mad at me, but it's an ethylene propylene diene terpolymer membrane.
It's right in the tip of my tongue.
So it's got chemicals. Sorry, moving right along.
All right. Any other discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? And that motion carries. Item 10 is to consider appointment of election judges and approve salaries for the presidential nominating primary. Did we get everybody we needed, Ms. Lensmeyer?
Mr. Mayor, council members, I am a little short, particularly in Ward 2, so we are still actively soliciting. We are taking student election judges. We've got a little campaign going with that, so if there are any students that would like to work, please get a hold of the clerk, and I will set them up with that. Training's easy, it's online. They don't even have to come in for the training, so.
All right. Very good. And we're looking at the hourly salary remains at $11 per hour, with the assistant head judge at $13 per hour and the head judge at $15 per hour. Student trainees, if any, would be paid $11 per hour. And since there is no municipal race on the ballot, there is no need for a city council canvassing meeting. Okay.
Except for you, of
Yeah, I know, I
course.
still have to go.
To the county canvassing meeting.
It's in my calendar.
Thank you.
Your Honor,
Councilmember Kicker?
I make the motion that we approve the appointment of election judges as outlined on the attached list, and that we authorize the city clerk to appoint and assign election judges during the 25 days preceding the election if substitutions are necessary, and that we approve hourly salary for election judges of $11 per hour, assistant head judges at $13 per hour, and head judges at $15 per hour, and student trainees at $11 per hour.
Second.
Motion by Kicker, second by Geisler. Discussion?
Mr. Mayor,
Councilmember Geisler?
I was an election judge for many years, and it's a really fun day. It's a great way to get engaged in the process and understand how the voting process works, and it's one day, so I would encourage anybody who, has an interest in what's going on in politics to, give our city clerk a call and sign up for the day, and it's one day, You can try it, and if you like it, you can come back for the fall.
Very good.
And it's not a caucus.
It is not a caucus.
There's
Those who-
also a caucus.
But this
Understood.
one's
But
not.
this is not.
This is not. Right.
This is not, so there might even be results.
Yes, there will be.
There's a nice app for that.
All right.
You get it cheap now.
Yeah.
All right, motion and a second. Any other discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? And that motion carries. Item 11 is consider assessment agreements and waivers for project 19-28 Northdale Boulevard traffic signal and intersection improvements. Mr. Hammer, I had coffee up at McDonald's right there this morning, and they were all very interested in this project up there.
Mr. Mayor, members of the council, this kind of finalizes, we discussed the development proposal here last month. These are the waivers by Costco, McDonald's, and Menards for their contribution to the traffic signal, which we are starting to work on those plans right now and look to construct this year. Happy to answer any questions about them.
SRF, is that who it is? Was up there with their survey equipment today.
Yes, Mr. Mayor, and that's the same group, if you recall, when we did our
Traffic
overall assessment of that area. They worked with us, they also then worked with the applicant and kind of put us where we are today.
Very good. Council?
Your Honor, I would.
Councilmember Demmer, I'm sorry, yes.
I would move to approve the assessment agreements and waivers from Costco Wholesale Corporation, McDonald's USA LLC, and Menard Inc.
Second.
Motion by Demmer, second by Geisler. Discussion? Hearing.
I was going to say, I think that the shoppers will appreciate a better movement around there, and our police department probably will appreciate hopefully a few fewer fender benders at that location, as well as our fire department with any injuries at those locations, so it's a positive move.
I'll just appreciate coming out of Costco and not have to wait for people making a left.
Right.
Yeah.
Correct.
So if anybody is curious what this looks like, if they go to this week's meeting pack on the city's website, there are several exhibits in here that show the improvements to the intersection. You have to kind of scroll through there, right?
That's correct.
All right, any other discussion?
Mr. Mayor,
Councilmember
I'd just
Griscoviac?
like to point out that, I've been looking at this for quite a while, and I think it's interesting and impressive that our staff, Tim Himmer and his group, have got the business owners in the area to contribute the way they did. This is going to be a nice improvement to the area. Nice job on that.
All right. Do we have a motion and a second on this?
We do.
Thank you. Any other discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? And that motion carries. Item 12 is to consider adopting the updated City of Coon Rapids Sanitary Sewer Comprehensive Plan. Mr. Hammer, this was riveting.
Mr. Mayor, Council, it's been a long battle. We kind of got caught in the whole 2040 comp plan piece. They went in at the same time. So it's really been almost 2.5 years since this went in. As I'm reading through the attachment, however, I think I may have failed to include a resolution. So I believe I'm going to need a resolution that I need to send back to the Met Council saying that we actually formally adopted this. But I just wanted to point out a few things within this plan. Again, there's nothing specific you're adopting or approving as far as projects with this. However, there are some elements within this that we'll be implementing over time, primarily the O&M of our system. The televising of the clay pipes is complete for most of our small diameter. We're going to have to now start looking at the larger collector systems that all those dump into, maintenance of our lift stations, connecting things via fiber for our SCADA system. A few things that may have effects for the public or things we'll be talking about is just some education around who owns what in our system. If you know, we own our water up to the curb stop, but the resident owns that service all the way to the main, and sometimes that presents problems when they have a sewer backup or an issue that extends out into the roadway, and they're responsible for that all the way to the main. Probably the biggest concern for us with I&I inflow and infiltration into our system right now are those private sewer services. While we've mained our clay mains, most of the services that are out there in this community are clay. So while they may have failing systems, there's nothing right now that requires them to be inspected or repaired if something is found. So we'll develop something, number one, around education of why it's important, what it costs us with I&I, maybe some programs that we could implement to help homeowners investigate that and or repair those. And also maybe there's some licensing of contractors that work in the city, so we're aware when they're doing work in and around some liners that we've already installed and not creating additional problems. So a few items that I've touched on there, not to mention the flushables and education around what's flushable and what's not. And I guess I'm happy to answer any questions you have, but this will be, it's a 10-year plan now that I just bought myself 3 years waiting for approval. So it's got us off the cycle with our surface water plan as well. So having to do those at the same time, now I've got a year or two gap in between before I start working on that. Again, I'm happy to answer any questions that you may have, but this is something that's contained within our budget in various different areas, and we identify projects as we go and budget for those as part of the regular budgeting cycle.
Councilmember Geisler?
I just had a question. So if we have to do a resolution, would it make sense to table this and bring them both back and do it together? Or is it okay to do them separately, or what would staff?
I'm not sure,
prefer?
that's why I brought it up in the beginning. I'm looking at it, and I know we adopted a resolution adopting the comprehensive plan, but I don't think it specifically stated our comp sanitary plan. So that's why I brought it up for
Okay.
Mr. Brody and Joan to help me out there.
I don't like it when our attorney is wrinkling his forehead.
It's a good thing Mr. Hemmer built up goodwill on the previous matter. Because he's going to lose some of it on this particular matter. I would just suggest, and we'll probably have to go back and look at a little more detail, but that when you adopt today's sanitary sewer comprehension plan and authorize its implementation, that you also authorize a resolution, be prepared to that effect, and we'll see if we can skate with that. Otherwise, we'll just bring the resolution back on the consent agenda on the next, at the next meeting.
I'm willing to give that a try.
Councilmember
Go
Demmer?
ahead.
It looks like it'll be number 20-31. Should I include that?
I wouldn't do that because.
Fine.
it-
All right.
we have already done this.
All right. So, move to adopt the attached sanitary sewer comprehensive plan, authorize its implementation, and approve a soon-to-be-written resolution stating that the plan was adopted and approved.
We'll see if that works.
Second.
Who are you gonna check with? Will? Oh, okay. Mr. Hemmer, I just wanted to make sure, under the inflow and infiltration, it says that, so there should be stricter requirements in place for inspections and repairs to the private service lines. We're not proposing any mandatory inspections.
There's nothing proposed here, Mr. Mayor. I know that was a little contentious as we talked about it. You know, there's options that maybe we included as part of our recon program, and that's something the city televises the homeowners. But what do you do if you find something wrong? Is there a deadline for repairing that? Maybe there's a program we offer. But I'm not proposing anything here. We're not amending any ordinances to that fact, but that's another option to consider.
I just wanted to be really clear because some municipalities have created a point of sale at the, with this. And so we're not suggesting that, and we're not agreeing to that with this.
I'm not suggesting it, and I'm not recommending it tonight.
Yeah, because I'm sure we won't get any pushback on that at all. All right, a lot of that's gonna take care of itself too. And there's a lot of sales, people just do the sewer inspection now anyway, but. All right, we have a motion and a second. Any other discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed, and that motion carries. And item 13, oh, there are so many pages marked up in that. There we go. Consider resolution 20-30, amending the stormwater utility fund. You want me to just read this, or do you want to just tell us what we need the money for, Mr. Hammer?
Mr. Mayor, members of the council, we're looking at the storm sewer Vector truck. This was in the budget a couple of years ago to the tune of about $490-some thousand. We carried that forward again, evaluating that vehicle, trying to carry it forward for an additional year. We let that money go at the end of 2019. We figured there'd be about a $40,000 to $1,000 investment we'd need to make to replace the tank that was on it. We did get quotes, and it came in at that $75,241.12. That's a little more than I can handle with just a typical O&M under my current budget, so I'm requesting a budget amendment in this amount such that we can retrofit the existing Vector, buy us another 5 years or so of use out of it, then look at what the technology has to offer at that time.
Mr. Himmer, I had this conversation during the Public Works Open House, I think last year or the year before, and the new truck that we have only runs for a certain amount of time and then it shuts off or something because of the new pollution devices or something? And that's why we're not buying a new truck, isn't it?
That's correct. That's one of the reasons, Mr. Mayor. I think the technology advancements are good as far as how we want to use it, but there's also some complications on the no idling, the multiple batteries and access to run the equipment versus the vehicle itself. So as opposed to jumping right in, let's work out the kinks on the existing one we have. Plus, who knows where technology goes in a little bit of time. So I'm figuring for this investment to buy us half of a life of what we would spend, 5, 6, 7 times this amount, I think it's well worth limping this one along and getting some good use out of it and working the kinks out of the other one.
I'm all for this. Council, any questions of Mr. Himmer, or make a motion, or?
Your Honor,
Councilmember Kicker?
I make a motion that we adopt resolution number 20-30, amending the 2020 Stormwater Utility Fund.
Second.
Motion by Kicker, second by Griskoviac. The other guy that's happy we're investing in old equipment, I'll bet.
Exactly.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion?
He's gonna set a precedent here that he can double the life of it for 1/8 of the price.
Oh, I know. This is gonna come back to haunt them later.
That works out really well.
Remember that. Keep doing that.
All right, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? And that motion carries. Item 14, to consider resolution 20-28, authorizing the 2019-2020 insurance renewals. 14. All right. Mr. Stemwedel, anything in here, I mean, other than making a decision on our no-fault sewer backup coverage again?
Mayor, Council, I'll defer to our Finance Director, Fran Hansen, if she wants to hit any of the highlights. But yes, that is kind of the most significant question before Council.
Yeah, well, Mayor, council members, we will maintain the same policy we had in previous years with the $50,000 deductible up to an aggregate of $200,000. New this year, however, last year we asked you and we got permission to purchase the additional $1,000 deductible for all of our police vehicles. It worked out pretty good for us this year. Actually, we kind of came in even on that. Luckily, we didn't have any major crashes that we needed to cover, so it was a good year. This year, however, evidently other people weren't so lucky because they decided to discontinue offering that coverage. So without raising the premium very much, we opted to try the $5,000 deductible plan for all of our automobiles. They wouldn't allow it to just be the police vehicles. We had to do all or nothing. Most of our damage on our other vehicles are very little, bumpers, things like that.
Sure.
So we opted to try it this year and see how it goes for us. So in 2020, the premium went up about $1,600 over last year's premium, and the total premium came in at $353,089. So we're kind of asking you to accept this, and if you have any questions. I'll also mention that, yes, we are asking for the sewer backup, Resolution 2028 to be adopted. This year, in 2019, we didn't have any incidents where we had to cover the $10,000. We did have 2 sewer incidents of backup, but it was deemed that the city was liable, so we paid the entire claim on those. But in years past, as you know, they have been a great asset to the city and the citizens, so.
That doesn't feel like a win.
Insurance.
Your
All
Honor,
right, Councilmember Demmer?
in honor of Ron Manning, I will move to approve Resolution 20-28, approving the purchase of sewer backup coverage.
Well, in the purchase through insurance renewal through all,
Oh, yeah, and authorization of purchasing insurance renewal through LMCIT, maintaining statutory legal limits of $1.5 million per occurrence, and the other part about the sewer.
Ron would be proud.
Second.
motion by Demmer, second by Kicker. Any discussion?
Mr. Mayor,
Councilmember Griscoviac?
that sewer backup liability insurance, is that just in the home, or is that if there's a problem, there's a backup in the home, and the whole line has to be dug up in the front yard all the way to the middle of the street? Is that covering that portion? Is it just in the home? Does anybody, are we? Uh-oh.
Well, usually when there's a sewer backup, it's way more than that. So the $10,000 basically would cover the home damage, but they are responsible then to do the dig up in their own yard. The city would not pay until it reached the main line. So usually the claims are significantly higher than the $10,000 that we provide.
I might just add that sewer backup is really the sewage coming up into their home. There shouldn't be it's not like we're going to surcharge their system and explode their service lateral. So any damage that results in that service lateral is owned by the homeowner. So really the damage you're talking about is the sewage backing up through the floor drain or some other means. I can't think of a situation where there would be damage to their line.
Infrastructure.
Correct.
I got you.
I guess it's possible, but I'm not familiar with what that might be.
Okay.
So this is a really good time to remind everyone to buy sewer backup insurance. Because this is just a very small piece. It doesn't cover really much at all. But,
I do have a question along those lines.
sorry.
Sorry.
How about save it and ask the city manager afterwards, please? Okay. All right, so we have a motion and a second. Any other discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? And that motion carries. We're winding it right up. Item 15 is to consider a joint powers agreement with the Minnesota Department of Public Safety for Human Trafficking Investigators Task Force. Makes me absolutely ill that we need this, but it's a serious thing. So do you want me to just read the discussion point here, or Captain, do you want to get the highlights, or?
Mayor, that would be up to you.
Well, clearly I'm making it up to you, Captain Record. I'll just read it then. The sex trafficking of minors is a serious issue facing our nation. Children are being exploited by traffickers and by those who expertly use the dark web to knowingly seek out children to sexually abuse. The police department would work in partnership with the Minnesota Bureau of Criminal Apprehension to locate and identify these child predators who may be present in Coon Rapids. The scope of work done jointly with the BCA will be limited to predators with a nexus to our city. A designated Coon Rapids detective will attend meetings of this task force, but only a very small portion of that detective's time will be spent working these cases. At this point, we do not have a specific problem to be addressed, but rather we want to be sure we have a person who is trained and alert for those most vulnerable victims, and that this person has access to the best intelligence and resources that only the state can provide. This agreement is valid for 5 years from the effective date, or until such time that either party chooses to terminate the agreement with or without cause, and the detective assigned will remain under supervision of Coon Rapids Police and will not be officed outside of Coon Rapids. Was that everything you were going to say?
Yes.
Perfect, all right.
Your Honor. We've actually had this for a year, I believe. This is just extending it.
Okay.
Your
Councilmember
Honor.
Johnson?
I'd move approval of entering into a joint powers agreement with the Minnesota Department of Public Safety to authorize the Coon Rapids Police Department to be a member of the Human Trafficking Investigators Task Force. It's just something we need to be involved in. Please.
Second. Motion by Johnson, second by Wells. Discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? And that motion carries. Item 16 was struck from the agenda this evening, and our next one, not sure why that's item 13, but we have an open mic response for Genevieve Meisner, 10041 Olive Street. At the January 21st council meeting, she spoke at open mic and requested the city council consider strategies for accommodating solar energy within the city. A letter was sent out, but just to let everyone know that City Code Chapter 11-1602 regulates the use of solar energy, and it is allowed in most of the city's zoning districts, but only as an accessory use. In essence, it can be placed on a building or a parcel with a building principal structure, but it is not allowed as a standalone use, i.e. a solar farm. Secondly, the city's comprehensive plan includes some language encouraging the use of renewable energy and solar power in particular. There was an analysis done of the solar potential within the city, and there are some areas where it would work and some areas where it would not due to tree cover, lack of south-facing exposures, and other impediments to solar access. And then coincidentally, there is a citizen group that has been meeting to discuss renewable energy options within the city, and this group plans to approach the city council and the Sustainability Commission about reviewing and potentially revising the ordinance related to solar energy. And this was for informational purposes only. And we are up to open mic. Is anybody here to speak to council under open mic? Okay, that's good, because I went out of order anyway. And we are at other business. We're right in the middle of snowflake. Mr. Stemwell, are you furiously looking to see if I missed something on the agenda?
No, we're good, yeah.
Or is there a wild game or something?
No, I'm looking, I was pulling up the calendar.
Oh, okay. So I believe we're right in the middle of, there's a wild game. Okay, let's hurry then, huh? So we're in the middle of snowflake days. The kids medallion hunt was Saturday morning, was well attended. Miss Coon Rapids and Miss Outstanding Teen were last Saturday evening, and I don't recall who our new Miss Outstanding Teen is, but our new Miss Coon Rapids is a former Miss Coon Rapids Outstanding Teen, Leah Mao, and awesome gal. She'll be a great representative for Coon Rapids. Community Waffle Breakfast was Sunday morning, seemed to be well attended. Lions waffles are just awesome, very good. I don't know where that first word came from. They were off, yeah. No, they were awesome. Yeah. All right, I'm not sure what's coming up. Family Fun Day is the 9th, I believe.
Mayor and Council, I was going to mention the Family Fun Day, which happens at the Coon Rapids Ice Center, which will be Saturday, and you can get a lot of those details on our city website. A lot of activities going on there.
CoonRapidsSnowflakeDays.com has all of the information. They've got the Kids Carnival coming up. They got Family Day at the Crick, with the open skating and the pond fishing and all the different things like that, so. All right, any other business to come before council? Mr. Fernelius.
Yeah, if I can, just remind the public of our front door program. Tomorrow night, we have a workshop that'll be in this room at 7 o'clock, which is a free workshop to anyone who's interested in the front door program. We'll have an architect as well as a local realtor talking about the importance of making curb appeal type improvements. Our front door program application deadline is March 1st. So there's still an opportunity to submit those applications, which will be done online, and then we'll have the lottery on March 11th. So.
Excellent. And if you have information, or if you'd like information about the front door program, go to the Coon Rapids website. It's all on the city's website. Councilmember Demmer?
Another one to bring up is the open house for the county project at Foley.
Oh, Thursday.
The 6th, so 2 days from now, over at the Head Start building just off Foley. And the open house is from 5 to 7 p.m. You know, they didn't schedule it at a time where you couldn't make it. They did their best.
All right, any other business to come before council this evening? Hearing none, all in favor? Yes,
to adjourn?
thank you.
Second.
Motion by Geisler, second by Wells to adjourn. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. We're adjourned.